Good morning. Hello. Ah, it's our last session. I am devastated because I have really, really, really enjoyed this whole series. No more classes, no more chatting. Well, I'm always here to chat, but good morning. If you're here with me, drop a comment, say hello, let me know you're watching, even if it's on replay. Hi, Helen. Hi, Carol. Good morning. Our last session. Hey, Julie. Oh, it's so good to see so many familiar, wonderful faces. Today is it, the final session, and I'm going to sort of go over some of the stuff we've already touched on because, well, it's important. And beyond that, hey, Sally, and beyond that importance, I think it's something. I was talking to one of our incredible members yesterday about how repetition is necessary. We need to hear things like 20 times before it actually lands, and each time we encounter the same information, we can get something different from it. So like the same reason that we would watch a movie over and over and have different interpretations or pull something else out of it each time, I really, really want to have the same experience here where you guys pull out what you need for today. Because you know what? The first session is ages ago now. So let's get into it. I really, really can't wait for you to embody some of the stuff that we've explored this month. I was going to say this year. It's kind of both. So far this year. Who's ready to dive in? I'm ready to dive in. I mean, although, maybe I'm delaying the inevitable because I don't want to say goodbye. Oh, and Lee's here too. Thank you, Lee. Lee is definitely making my life so much easier. I can't wait for you guys to meet her more tangibly. She's going to be running one of my master classes in the check-in later in the year, so you guys will know how to be amazing business owners just like she's turning me into. So Haley, so much love to you as well. All right, let's get into it, shall we? I will start to share my screen, and then that will be that. And then we'll go from there, eh? All right, sharing my screen. Where are we? Screen 2. And let's do it. No. All right. Now we're in. Hopefully you can see all that. Let me just keep an eye on the on the comments as we go. Where are you? Gosh, it's all happening here. All right. Amplifying your voice. Kind of the whole point of being here is through the 4 weeks up until now, I have been layering different skills and ideas to help you guys build the confidence and the skills to be able to say what you want to say in the way you want to say it, whenever you want to say it. So my job and the whole point of my membership is to help people just like you guys watching find, use, and amplify that beautiful signature voice of yours. So we've done the find. Some of us have done the use. Some of us still need to go back and do a bit more of that. That's all right too. And now it's time to amplify. And to do that, to go forward, sometimes we need to go backwards. So I'm going to go talk to you, each of you, all of you, about that. So essentially today, as I said, is all about recapping the entire process. We've got the 3 steps to authenticity we talked about. We've got how to banish imposter syndrome, which, once again, does it exist? Does it not? Is it a construct? I don't know. What I do know is that many of us don't feel worthy of the success we're due. So let's get rid of that and start bringing you the success you deserve. And the third, of course, and one of the most important, is becoming a woman of influence, because we all deserve that too. So let's revisit, if you will. All right, so we do a poll every week. This week is no different. This is more of an overview poll, though. I'd love for everybody who's live, everybody on replay as well, still participate in the poll. Let me know where you're up to. 1, I'm still feeling pretty unsure about everything. It's a wobble. 2, I'm feeling a bit more confident, but I'm still catching myself hesitating. And 3, I'm totally ready to get rolling. Let me at it. Of course, Helen's a 3. Good for you, Helen. I love that you are a 3. Always. You are like ready for all the success that is due to you. And you've got the beautiful Sally, the 2.5. Oh, Sal, that's a great number. I think when we met, you were close to maybe a 1.5 to 2. So we are moving that needle for you. Great. Yes, Helen. Woohoo. Well done, you guys. Julie's a 3. She's totally ready to get rolling. Julie has absolutely done the work and is ready to be the voice that her people need. Absolutely. So wonderful. Thank you for your input. Let's go. Let's talk about becoming empowered and authentic. That was week 1. This was our lesson that we talked a lot about. What did we talk about? How to feel authentic, how to embody your words, how to step out of your comfort zone without feeling ick about it, right? So the first step to becoming empowered and authentic is to forget the box, color outside the lines, be the one who's different, because the one who's different stands out. And I know it's scary sometimes to stand out, but if you really want to deliver your message, if you really want to build that following, if you really want to teach people what they need to know, you need to be saying something different than the crowd, right? And you all have a signature message, a signature lesson to teach, and we all need to hear it. Okay, so let go of the expectations of what should be. No matter if someone's told you, no matter if you've told yourself, just trust yourself to create what you want, right? And I'm here to help with that too, aren't I? So it's not to say that there aren't any rules when it comes to creating, but you will know for yourself instinctively what suits you, what fits. So ignore industry norms that don't light you up. If you don't want to do 50 reels a week, don't do 50 reels a week. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to be counting for starters. And if you were doing something that feels incongruent, that feels uncomfortable, is going to show up, right? And it's not going to get the engagement that you are hoping for and that you so richly deserve. Ignore what your competitors are doing, unless you want to do it, unless it looks like fun and it's something that you'd like to pursue. So if so-and-so is holding an event and you see that that's super successful, but you don't really want to hold an event, that doesn't then mean that you must. That just means that that's what they did. If in fact you really want to host an event, well, go do it. Yep. Think outside the box though. Just because it's on the list of like, this is how someone else did it, keep your blinkers on and keep listening to your gut, listening to your body, listening to your instincts. And if it doesn't suit you, don't do it, right? Ignore opinions of people who aren't fully in your corner and don't truly know your mission. That one kind of hits a bit close to the bone for me in particular. And I know there are a lot of people out there with well-meaning commenters in their lives who are probably trying to be supportive or maybe trying to be protective. And they say things like, oh, well, wouldn't it just be so much easier to just get a job? No, it wouldn't, because we need to kind of flip our relationship between easy and hard as well. Because on the surface, sure, it would be easy to go get a job where the responsibility is not ours, to have the business run, to have the cash flow, to make all the systems run, to keep all the customers happy, to be every department in the entire whole, right? Sure, that would be easy, but it would be so hard because we'd be miserable. And what's worse is being like feeling the weight of this thing that we've created and that we love and that we're passionate about, or feeling unfulfilled, right? So the easy path is actually the hard path, and the hard path is actually the easy path. So we get to like flip it around. Yeah. And ignore the fear of not getting it right. There's no such thing as right aside from what you see in your bank balance, right? So that's kind of a fairly good measure. But in the process, we're going to not get it right a whole bunch. We're going to fail a lot. But what we're going to get from every failure and every not quite right is data about what we want, what our audience needs, what we do next time in order to be successful. So we don't need to worry about not getting it right, because it's inevitable, right? We're not perfect. We're not aspiring to perfection. We've talked about this at length in the past. Perfection and getting it right is not what we're after. What we're after is learning a lesson every time we do anything. So I just kind of need to really labor that point, because I think there's a lot of us who are hamstrung by trying to do things a certain way or be a certain thing, or we're fearful of, what are people going to think if I don't do it right the first time? I'm like, when has anybody in the history of the universe ever done anything new perfect the first time? Never, ever. So let's aspire to something more reasonable, shall we? When you are comfortable to claim your space, the whole process is going to become way more enjoyable. You don't have to like turn yourself into some kind of pretzel to fit the mold you don't even believe in. If it doesn't feel right, don't do that. I couldn't be more clear. So this is your opportunity to be a leader. You are taking this approach because you are the leader of your community, and somebody needs to step up, and it might as well be you. And it's terrifying, right? It's really scary to be the one that says, you know what? The status quo is not okay with me. I need to challenge it. I'm going to be the loud voice in the room. It's scary, but so necessary. Okay. And yes, it doesn't mean that you lose sight of the fundamentals of building your messaging, of building your business. I'm not saying, don't accept payments or something as fundamental as that. But what I am saying is, find the way that suits you best. Develop your own framework. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Worry about what you do. Okay. So that is step one. Forget the current box. You don't need it. Step two is identify your weird and wonderful. And for goodness sake, do not apologize for the weird and wonderful. The weird and wonderful is what makes you stand out as well. We all have our quirks, interests, and differences. This is our opportunity to embrace them and build a community around that. Right? These are the key reasons that people buy from us, is because they see the commonalities between us and them. They're not looking at you going, she's got pink hair. She must be a terrible human. She's like, oh, damn, I like that pink hair. That's cool, So we need to find these ways of saying, this is my lane and I'm going to own this lane. Yep. I wonder, actually, if you've got a second in the comments, you guys, tell me something, each of you, if you could please, that is one of your quirks, interests, or difference. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? How are we going to embrace it from here on out? I'd love you to pop that in the comments if you get a sec. That would be really, really cool. This is kind of nice. I can't think. Yeah. It's all at the heart of being authentic and being ourselves and feeling good about that. The more we can be ourselves. Helen's very funny. Yes, you are, my friend. It's always a joy to speak to you, Helen. Yes. It's when we can embrace these parts of ourselves that maybe we haven't given ourselves the opportunity before, we can really start to get to the good work. We can really start to get to the core of how we help people, of how we come to serve. And it's not about us, and it's not about being insecure. It's about saying, do you know what? Yeah, I'm different. So what? Julie says, I don't label myself. I embrace my multi-dimensional self and multimodality. So you never get the same answer twice when you ask what I do. It's true. What do you do? Oh, all the things. Julie is just pure magic in a human being. So that is all you need to know. Let's just say I'm magical. Julie, that would be your answer. Perfect. And Lee says, I'm an open book and probably overshare. Always a story. Yes. Lee is familiar with the art of narrative, and it's fabulous, and I love it. And I always know just a tiny snippet more about Lee every time I get a chance to speak to her. It's really cool. And that really speaks to your character and your warmth. I think, yeah, being an open book builds so much trust and rapport right away. Yeah. So step 3 in being authentic and empowered is just keep doing it, right? Be consistent. Everything you do, say, teach, present to the world, it all needs to be in alignment. We can't say one thing and do another. We can't turn up in one space in a certain way and then actually be in reality completely the opposite. Don't fake it till you make it. You know, don't fake it at all. If you're a shy person, you don't have to pretend to be a boisterous person. You just kind of embody that quiet confidence, you know, and you'll attract your crowd that way. Because if you're a shy person, you don't really want to be attracting fellow boisterous types just because that's you've been told to put on that facade. Then you're going to be around people who drain your energy. That doesn't sound like fun. And the same goes for anything, any example of that. Maybe you're a boisterous person and you've been told that you're too much and you need to dull yourself down. I mean, what terrible advice that is. But then also you may be surrounding yourself with people who are not meeting you at your energy. And then that's a problem as well, isn't it? Yes, it is. It also, whatever you're saying or doing needs to be repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? We don't just say it the once and move on. So, you know, what we've been doing lately in the membership is we have been thinking about what do we do, who do we do it for, etc. What's the outcome of working with us? We're working on distilling that down into one key phrase, and then we're repeating it to each other so that we can embody it. And so that when someone says, oh, what do you do? Well, Julie can come out and say, well, I'm magical and I help everyone. But for the rest of us, we can start to talk about, you know, Helen works with women on being their unapologetic self, you know. So I'm Helen, I do this, etc., etc. And so we need to repeat it over and over again because people will miss it. 100%. People need to hear it more than once, more than 20 times apparently, or something like 20 times you need to hear something before it truly sticks. So, you know, if you're up to repetition number 4, you got a ways to go, don't you, before like the message kind of sticks. So that's okay if you need to say it over and over again. If you believe in something, make it part of your branding. It doesn't matter what that is. It could be, you know, it could be a fruitarian. There's your community. You could be a vegan. There's your community. You could love muscle cars. There's your community. It doesn't matter what it is, but you build that into the work that you do. You create your community around this commonality, these common sets of beliefs, interests, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is as long as you own it. Yeah. So Cheryl, who you met yesterday, her thing is fitness. She builds that into the content that she creates, even though she's a coach for cleaning business owners. What do cleaning business owners and fitness have to do with each other? Cheryl. That's it. So there's that commonality there. So you've got to find ways to make these through lines between your personal and your professional life to build that community. And I'm not saying that you need to share everything about your personal life, but being vulnerable, being open and being real with the people in your world will make an enormous difference to how effective your marketing is. Okay. Now, part 2, day 2, we talked about banishing that horrific little gremlin, the imposter within. Yeah. And I did kind of challenge whether, in fact, imposter syndrome even exists. It's kind of annoying, but whether you call it imposter syndrome, whether you call it inferiority complex, whether you call it whatever, the reality is that sometimes we don't feel worthy. Yeah, that's okay. But well, to a point, it's okay. But let's kick that out, because everybody who's here and everybody who's participated through the entirety of this event, we're up to nearly 90 people who have come through this space. Everybody deserves to feel worthy of the success that they have earned, right? And so step one to embrace that is to opt for bravery over perfection. It can be scary to claim our space, honestly, but we need to say yes to opportunities. And if we don't know exactly how it's going to play out yet, that's okay. A lot of us are waiting for, well, I'm not totally ready. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know step by step how this is all going to play out. All right. So what? You don't need to know the entire story. You just need to know the next step. And then at that step, you'll figure out the step after that. So say yes now, and then figure out the rest as you go. Doesn't matter. Part two is acknowledge any sense of inadequacy or self-doubt. That's allowed. Let it happen. Bring it up. And then maybe come up with some counter arguments as to why that's objectively not true. So the first time we talked about this, we had some really great answers as to what people's sort of overriding thoughts are around imposter syndrome. And then what we did was we came up with a bunch of answers as to why that actually wasn't the case. And that, I think that's really helpful. And I think if any of us could keep note of when a thought comes up as to why you think you're not fit to do the thing you want to do, or to help the person you want to help, or whatever it is, maybe take some time to like acknowledge the thought, recognize it, step back and really logically look at why that's actually not the case. And if it is the case, how can we overcome it in another way? Let's say, oh, I mean, there was things that came up. I haven't been to university. I've been to university. My brothers have been to university. Not any of us are specifically using our degrees. You know, for instance, university isn't everything. So there's always a counter argument to the negative bias that you put on yourself. I'd really love it if you recognize that by simply not stepping up, someone somewhere is missing out on your brilliance. Yeah. When we hold ourselves back, it is not just us we are impacting. We are hurting somebody who needs us deeply, somebody who needs our skills, our gifts, our influence. Somebody out there needs you right now, and it is your responsibility to make sure they find you and they hear from you. I know that sounds kind of full on, but do you know what? They're not going to find you if you don't put yourself out there. It's that whole you can't sell a secret thing. So have a think about that. And yes, same as before, accept that you may not get it perfect, but every step you take gets you closer to where you want to be. Okay? We're never going to be perfect. We're not striving for perfection. We've done the poll on perfection. You know, nobody in this group is looking for perfection from the people that they follow. So why are you striving for it yourself? We're not looking for perfect. We're just looking for real and impactful and effective. So let's keep it there, okay? Overcoming imposter syndrome. Step 2, the in crowd. So surround yourself with people who value you. I know people in this space. There are people that I am very close to, people that I respect enormously, who will tell me when I've done a great job, and they'll also tell me when I've done a shit job, and they'll also tell me when I am talking absolute garbage about myself and about the efforts that I've made. And they'll snap me out of my pity party that I will sometimes have for myself, because I want to do well and I really care. And sometimes that leads to a bit of a spiral. And I'm sure everybody here has experienced a version of that as well. So surround yourself with people who get it. Yep. Let go of gurus who are going to encourage you to feel anything other than brilliant about your plans, about your approach, about your values, and about your uniqueness. There are a lot of people out there who might be threatened by you, who maybe don't understand you, who maybe are completely wrapped up in them and what they're doing and what that means to them. Yeah. Just get rid of them. You don't need them in your life, and they're not going to add. And if they don't make you feel good about yourself, then maybe they are not people that should earn that deserve your energy. I guess is all I'm saying. And remember that you are the leader and you get to create your own space if the one you're in doesn't currently fit you. There's no reason that you can't start your own thing for yourself. Okay? Step 3. Focus on the wins. We're wired for negative bias, however, that doesn't mean that's the only truth available to us. Okay. Sometimes we can be a bit negative. Sometimes we can be a bit down on ourselves. That's allowed. That's how we're kind of designed, for better or worse, and generally worse. Wouldn't it be great if every single time we had a thought, we went, I'm so positive about this, that, or the other. I'm doing a really good job today. We tend to focus on the negative. It's the reason that we will remember out of 100 positive comments, we will fixate on the one negative one, right? I still get a knot in my stomach every time I see an unsubscribe in my email list, even though they've kind of done me a favor. It still makes me go, oh, I'm sad. But instead of looking at the hundreds of people that are actually opening and enjoying my emails, I look at that one that didn't like it and I get sad. And I'm sure each of you has a version of that too, right? That's the negative bias. So on the days where the negative is really catching hold, and I know that you guys, some of you already started doing this, keep that folder of wins and positive feedback available so that the days where your confidence is taking a wobble, you have clear black and white evidence of the counter arguments to all that negativity. Your brilliance is there on show in black and white. Your impact is available for you to kind of refer back to and go, oh yeah, I did like that. I did do a good job. Yeah. And Julie says, yes, yes, and yes. I think that was the last one. But anyway, same goes. Everybody gets positive feedback. It's just a matter of reminding us, reprompting ourselves to actually look at it and take in the evidence that says we're actually not terrible. Yeah. It's important. Okay. Week 3, we talked about amplifying your voice to become a woman of influence. So this one, is this kind of half practical, half philosophical? Gosh, it'd be good if I could speak during my own presentation, wouldn't it? This is really important. So I wanted to revisit this ladder, right? The hierarchy of first impressions. It's really, really important that we look at this. Everybody's hierarchy is going to be slightly different in terms of what they choose. For me, this is what it looks like. I want to be clear that while there is a lot of pressure for social media to be the be all and end all, right? It's not for everybody, and that's okay. So for me, this is my hierarchy, and this is what I have seen to be hugely valuable for so many people in my space, and what I have found to be far more comfortable for many, many people that I have worked with over the last 4 or 5 years, is that we're told that we need to put all of our effort, all of our energy into social media, and we're forgetting that other ways of talking to people exist and are probably more valuable. We're talking about the most memorable first impression that we can make. So what I like to do is invert the priority. So the priority on static posts and posting every day in our social media, I don't think that's necessary personally. I think we can use our social media presence as backup for all the other impressions we make higher up this ladder. So for me, I believe, and tell me if you disagree, I'm totally open to discussion about that. I believe that when we meet somebody in person, that is a far more memorable experience than possibly landing on one of their static social posts. I think we can remember their conversation, we can remember their keynote address, we can remember the workshop we attended, we can remember anything that we talked about at a networking event, right? That stuff is hugely valuable. And then they go, oh, that Helen, I really liked what she said about that. I wonder if she's saying more online, you know? And so I take this approach, and what that does is that takes the pressure off. As far as Julie says, I'm definitely a feels person like that. Totally agree. 100%, because it takes the pressure off. We feel it's like, oh my God, I'm not posting. That means I'm not going to get clients. Like, no, That's not, there's not a through line between not posting and not getting clients, right? And I'm not saying we should never ever use social media. That's not what I mean. That would be wonderful. That'd be utopia. But Lee says, I will not work with anyone I've not seen face to face or online. I know I joke, I need to know if you're an axe murderer. Maybe you'll never know, but it's worth a try. You probably get a better sense of someone by actually experiencing them. So if you can't be in person, or if it's not your thing, we start thinking about what we can do in a live capacity, but online, right? That's the next best impression that we can make. So webinars, maybe a live stream, maybe networking events online, maybe something like being on a podcast. We start to get still quite a lasting impression. It's the kind of length of the impression that seems to count here. And then, yeah, online recorded is what that's supposed to say. I still need to fix it. Whoopsie. Online recorded, maybe it's a replay of a webinar, maybe it's a tutorial, maybe it's just reels or shorts, and we'll get a smaller impression, but still more, because there's fluidity, there's movement, there's character to it. And then of course there's static posts. I kind of believe you can't really ignore somebody when they're right in your face in person. It's hard to scroll past them or metaphorically scroll past them if they're in the room with you. When it comes to a static post, not only does it only reach a certain percentage, like maybe 2% of your audience, but that audience doesn't even have to fully take it in. They can kind of go, oh yeah, it's a nice picture, and it's gone. And that's your moment. So for me, my advice is always think about the most memorable impressions that you can make and what's comfortable for you. So for me, in person, and then for live, and then online recorded stuff, and then static posts. And we've talked about this last time as well. You've got to go with what you're most comfortable with within that. Okay, so I get that not everybody likes networking. I started networking with the biggest cringe throughout my body as humanly possible. Hated it, but I understood what it meant to my business, and I was willing to do what it took to take my business where it needs to go. And that includes meeting new people, and that includes putting myself out there. Some people really struggle to do a live. I certainly did the first time. But again, it's important enough to me, it's important enough to my business, and the people in my world deserve to know about me so they can get the help they need. The same as it is exactly the same for any of you. The only way they're going to know about you is if you put yourself out there, and then they can get the help and the support they desperately deserve. Okay? Have a think. Right. Here are some opportunities to amplify your voice. I really want you to think about, if you haven't already, how can we share our story? How can we amplify that voice of ours? Throughout the training, there was the Hero's Journey training. I wonder if anybody has attempted that yet. I hope so. There's also, we did work with our bios. That's another opportunity to share parts of ourselves, parts of our story. We can do it in person. We can do it online. We can do it in podcasts. We can do it on the telly. Maybe we get a news spot. Maybe it's on the radio. Maybe it's through print media. Maybe it's through applying for and being nominated for and going through the awards process, right? There's so many different ways of doing it. And we really need to start thinking beyond the scope of, well, I put 5 social media posts out this week. Yep. What else did you do? Because we have an entire marketing ecosystem that we need to consider, not just one piece of it. And it all talks to each other, and they all feed into each other. And it's very important that we know that all of the pieces are interwoven and that they are having attention paid to them. So here are some extra pieces that may suit you. One of the best assets that you can pull together, especially if you're looking to amplify your voice, impact more people more quickly, is to have a speakers page or even a one-page graphic that has everything an event organizer needs to know about you as a speaker. So this is mine, obviously, that you might need to zoom in or actually go to the link if you want to have an example of what a speaker's page should contain. This is for anyone who may be looking for someone just like you to speak at their event. Yeah. So it's kind of like a sales page for you as a speaker. Yeah. So it includes a short version of your speaker's bio. It's only a paragraph or so, and it's always in the third person. Lee did this, Julie is that, Helen is this. Yep. It should include discussions on availability, maybe your pricing, images for the event hosts to use, links to other parts of your digital assets. So things like your socials, things like your website, and of course, contact details. Has anybody since the last session that we did on this, 3 weeks ago now, has anybody had a look at building out their speakers page? Let me know in the comments. I need to update mine, by the way. It's been a while, and I think really my message has changed since I put that together. So it's time for me to sort of revisit that as well. And that's the other thing. Helen says, no, that's okay. The other thing we need to remember is that while we are working on our message now, that doesn't mean that message will be the one that continues 5 years from now. Say, we are constantly evolving as people. We are constantly evolving as business owners. And it's important that we check in with our messaging to see if it still fits. Lee says, no, but it's prompted me to set aside some time to revisit all the pages on the website. Well, good news, you know a guy to help you with that, Lee. Perfect. So media must have, we do need to have a press release template for any achievements that we are in the midst of, or anything that we want to get across. Maybe you're doing something new and different in your area. Maybe you're doing something that everybody needs to know about. And part of that, yes, is claiming that everybody needs to know about that. So that's on you. I can't do that for you, but I'll probably give you a nudge. So what must it have? It needs to have a compelling headline, a strong opening paragraph, so that you know, these journalists are busy types. They don't always read the whole thing. So they need to be compelled in the first 2 kind of spaces to want to read further. You know, sometimes they'll just lift the whole thing and fling it straight in the paper, which is what used to happen fairly regularly at the paper I used to work at. Thankfully, that was not my department, because that's kind of shocking. So it should include, where it can, facts and statistics, perhaps a quote from you. What do you think about the thing that you have been pulling together? Maybe it's an achievement. Maybe you're nominated or a finalist or a recipient of some national award. That's important to tell people about. That's kind of the whole point of going into these award things in the first place, is that then we get to tell people about it. Yeah. Include a call to action. If this is an interesting story to you, please contact me at these details. Yes, please contact me for more. Contact me for interview. Yep. How else can we amplify our voice? Government bodies. We could offer to do some seminars for the community. Maybe we could do some workshops for the staff of the government agency, if it's council or whatever. Maybe we seek out, on purpose, actively seek out event organizers. Maybe you need to tell people that you actually are a speaker, that you want to connect with more people. And the best thing about speaking opportunities is that you can connect with like 80 people in a room all at once. How good does that sound? You can tell people why you're so good at what you do. You can tell the people get a sense of you and your character in the moment, and that really starts with telling people that you want to do it in the first place. Maybe it's as simple as sponsoring an event and getting your branding out there a bit more. Okay. And one of the best things that we can do is create alliances, create strategic partnerships, leverage one business owner's audience and experience against another, against your own. I sort of spend a lot of time encouraging that in our space, because there are so many complementary fields But why shouldn't we kind of build our businesses all together in a collaborative way? And we're here to support each other and build each other up instead. So you don't have to do it alone. So you can build your visibility by connecting with complementary business owners. Maybe you do a live stream together. Maybe you do a joint promotion together, a guest blog. Maybe you do an in-person event together. You co-host it. Maybe you feature in someone's emails. Maybe they feature in yours. Maybe there's a crossover podcast situation happening. Maybe you just create something completely new and interesting together. Yeah. How cool would that be? And let me know if you do, actually, because I want to be there for that. I want to hear all about it. So I hope that gives you some ideas of then how to take what you are building and push it further out into the world. There are options there, and we can think out of the square, and it doesn't just have to be on the the modern traditional channels of Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitter. Okay, and if you're unsure, please ask for backup. I'm right here, right? So this was literally yesterday from Cheryl, who you heard from, who is still doing the most incredible work and building and building and building. She's going straight into launch mode this week, actually. She says, oh my God, I feel amazing, but confident that I can really help these women, because all of us here are in the business of service, right? We're in the business of helping other people. And Cheryl's done the work. You know, she's really worked hard to build something that is so helpful, and the ripple effect of that is just incredible. She's not only teaching what she knows, but helping other people, support their families with ease for the first time. You know, things like that. It's so incredible. So she thinks I've helped her a bit. How great's that? And she's been getting the same feedback in her space. So that is just fabulous. Okay. Please ask for backup. And I really, while I can, this is my last opportunity, so I really want to celebrate. So Helen here, Helen's on today. I really wanted to celebrate her. She started in our first week. She came into the copy check-in, and she has been gung-ho about it. So she's completed her first one-to-one with me. She's completed her foundational messaging session. She's attended every class and been so committed to the process of learning and building and growing and just experiencing this whole transition into the next phase of her business. So well done, Helen. She's achieved clarity and confidence in her messaging and a newfound confidence in the way she wants to market her business. So well done, Helen. And look, that's maybe 4 weeks that we've been doing this, and there's already so much progress. So well done, Helen. I also wanted to celebrate Jane, who came through on the same day as Helen. Well done, Jane. So Jane has been a little more shy and reserved, and that is absolutely spectacular. That is Jane's nature, to be a bit more reserved. In saying that, she's still come to her first one-to-one. We had a huge conversation about where she wants to take her business and what that means. She's attended every class as well. She's submitted and refined her first piece, and it was ready for publishing. And you know what she did? She was concerned about sending it out, but you know what? She felt the fear and she did it anyway. And she published her first blog, and then emailed it out to her entire list, even though it felt a bit like, I don't know what's going to happen. And she did it, and it was beautiful, and it was just so well executed. And she's also, not only that, developing a lot of clarity on a lead gen strategy that suits her. So I just wanted, this is my moment. This is the only chance I'll get to celebrate our new members before everything kind of shuts down. So go, guys. Well done. Yes. Oh, I'm excited to keep working with you too, Helen. We've only just started scratching the surface. So well done, you two. And this is where I get to talk to you one last time about the copy check-in, because it's kind of important. It's got an enormous part of me in here. This is my passion. This is what I want to do. Here's what I'm not going to do for you, though. And it's a weird place to start. Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to sell you a pipe dream. and tell you that success comes easily. It takes work. It takes kind of commitment to the process week in and week out. And that's what we've seen with Cheryl. That's what we see with every single one of you that's here with us today. We're in it for the long haul to create a message and a business that lights you up. We're not here for the 10K in 10 days. That's not what I'm offering. So I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to tell you that there's a quick fix around the corner for every conceivable problem. Some there will be, some will take work, right? But that's what we're here to do. We're not living in la la land. We're living in it's possible, but we got to stick with it. And I'm definitely not going to cram you into a mold that just doesn't fit you, right? And then tell you it's your fault when things inevitably don't work out because it's not the way you want to do business in the first place. I'm not here for that. What I'm here for is to facilitate your journey in your business in your way. That's it. Right? And everybody here is doing things slightly differently. Everybody here has different fears and abilities and passions and all of these things. That's what makes your business yours. And that's what makes it great. And my job is to help you with that, not to tell you to do it some other way that you don't love. Okay? Takes so much pressure off it. It feels really nice how you go, oh, I'm glad. Yay, let's keep going. Because it might be a less straightforward approach to say, I can help you this way or that way, instead of saying, this is the way, go do it. There's less certainty in that. But what it does give you is comfort in knowing that the way that you're pursuing things actually feels right to you, rather than feeling off but pursuing it anyway. My job is to provide you with the skills and the strategic backup to do what you want to do on your own terms. So that is what the copy check-in is to me. And within that, we work on your emails. We'll work on your social posts. We'll work on your ads. We'll work on your web copy. We'll do anything with writing. That's what we will work on to align with you to the point that you can hit publish with confidence every single time. That's what we're here for, nothing more. So most of you here are already aware what's included. We have the weekly live classes where we review your work, we build community, we deep dive on strategic discussions. And if you can't make it, well, I'll do your offline review of your work. Yeah. Every month we have a one-to-one strategic planning session of 45 minutes of just magnificence and connection. You have access to our exclusive creative collaborative community. You have fortnightly accountability group working sessions where you come to work on the business rather than in the business. It's an opportunity for you to carve out time to work on what you want to work on. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to help you with it, because I've got work to do too, would you believe it? But we all come together and you have what, those 2 hours, well, 2 hours a month, I guess, 1 hour a fortnight to actually get something done that has been on your list and you've been meaning to do. You have foundational brand voice messaging guidelines that you and I will collaborate on. Expert masterclasses. The first one is coming up in a couple of weeks. 2 Fridays from now will be our first, about monetizing your social media presence. How cool is that going to be, with an absolute social media gun? We will have a directory built that has every member's details in it, so you can start to collaborate more efficiently with each other, and just so you can get to know who's in the space. And of course, my little black book of trusted tools and suppliers will be coming as well. So that's just scratching the surface of what's actually in there. If you tried to pay for any of that individually, 100% it would end up more than 25K worth of stuff, but that is not what I'm charging. I am charging less than that. And because it is the final week and because I love you guys, I do have one final set of bonuses. It's also my birthday on Saturday. So I thought giving is always better than receiving. I am sharing the potential of my sales page copy collab experience. So that is 3 hours of one-to-one time directly with me, so we can come together and work on a project, probably your sales page, something that you're ready to launch and you need specific guidance and messaging around. We'll come together. It will be done within that time frame, and by the end of the package, you'll be able to publish it, send it out into the world. Yep. Oh, thanks, Julie. I will also offer, because it's still early in the year, 90 minutes with me one-to-one, so we can jump into your strategic planning for the year ahead. That's worth $450, and it will include a bespoke Trello template that's set up and ready for you to sort of zoom out on the year ahead and really sort of get strategic about exactly what you're going to do with your year, where everything fits together, and why you're doing what you're doing. So this makes it much easier to create as well as understand your work rhythm for the year ahead. And of course, I will be sharing my entire suite of templates worth as much as $1,000. So there's heaps in there: sales pages, web pages, email sequences, about pages, all sorts of goodness. So all of that would be worth more than 4K if you bought that individually, but I'm giving that to you. Oh no, it's not until tomorrow. It's available till next Friday. Gosh, I need to work on my attention to detail. So all of that's worth 4K or more, and that will be available until the end of next week when I shut down the entire summer session space. So is it 25K? No, it's not. It's $19.99 for the year, or it's $189 a month for 12 months, okay? And you will get so much out of it. I mean, as you see, there's already so much momentum building for the ladies who started just at the start of the month. And there's so much more to come. So what will happen once you join, you'll be welcomed into the space. That what you can see in that little screen there is our check-in HQ. I'll kind of give you a bit of a tour, a bit of a show around, and then right away, even today, you'll be able to submit your first piece of work and get going and start that journey of building the momentum and the success that you deserve in 2024, okay? So bonus expires Friday, Feb 9. So that is next Friday, 5 p.m. Please, if you would like to come join us, there's a QR code you can scan with your phone, or I can put the link in the comments. If Lee, you have it, great. If you don't, I can put the link in the comments. In fact, I'll do that just now. Doop. You can come join us that way. Or if you're not quite sure yet, or you have questions, that's totally fine. You might not even know if this is the right fit for you. The only way to find out is to ask. So let's talk about it, okay? That's no problem. So you can book a copy confidence call with me anytime to discuss whatever you need. So I'm going to pop that in the comments too. And that's it, right? So now, before we go, are there any questions about anything that we've touched on today, or anything that we've touched on in the last month? Is there anything that's been on your mind? Oh, Helen, thank you so much. Incredible value already. Oh, buddy, we're only just getting started too. And Jackie too. Thank you so much, my fabulous humans who have joined from the very start. It's been good, right? Oh yeah, there's my podcast too, if you need something else to listen to. Are there any questions about anything that we've touched? You're welcome to ask me anything. If there's not, I will get straight on to today's homework, the final homework task of the 2024 Summer Session series, okay? Our homework, it's easy. All we need to do is go back over all of the homework tasks that we've been set throughout the last 4 or 5 weeks, find something you haven't done, and then go do it. That's it. Super simple, isn't it? So look out for the post. I'd love to see you actually show me what you've done. So I'll pop the post is coming up at 10 o'clock. So there will be evidence of whatever it is that you have been up to. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all for being here, for joining me for this experience. I have had such a blast this whole month of sharing what I know and sharing what you know and receiving all of this incredible connection with you guys. It's a total game changer to be in this space with you. And I really, really appreciate all of the commitment, all of the attendance, all of the contributions that each of you have made. This has been an absolutely spectacular experience. If there is anybody that you still think needs to see any of this, there's still time, right? So bring them along. We've got till the end of next week, and that's plenty of time to catch up if you want. Karen, thank you for coming to. Anybody on replay, same deal. Ask questions. Think about whatever it is that you need and come into the group and ask. This is a really safe space to learn and connect and grow and develop your skills. So that's it from me. We did it. Have an amazing weekend, I guess. And please do come and catch up with me any old time. What I will say, final note, I just decided this morning, so it's all a bit of a blur, but the next one of these events will be shorter. It will be a week, and it will be the final week of April. So April 29th to May 3rd. If you think that that might be a thing that you'd be interested in, keep an eye out. Maybe drop a comment here if you want to know more about it as time goes on. I only decided today, so that's why it's all a bit loose, because that's how I do. I'm a bit impulsive. Sorry, Lee. I promise I'll do better. But yeah, there will be more information forthcoming. April 29 to May 3rd, and we're going to dive into some new topics that we haven't covered in these 5 weeks. Is there anything left? Who knows? All right, everyone. Thank you so, so much. Well done to all of you for sticking it to the end. I'm so, so proud of each of you. Please keep in touch. If you are not part of the membership and you're not planning on it, that's cool too. I still want to know what you're up to, where you're going, who you're seeing, what you're doing. Let me know. All right. So much love to each of you. I'll see you soon.